No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Maybe that was not the best video to open cross-examinations with. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross-Examinations. I am your host, Mike S. Miller. We are here once again to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and all that entails. But per usual, of course, there's something at my feet that I don't want to deal with. Why must people... More Star Wars talk. What? No, this is not Star Wars. No, it says cross-examinations. What are you talking about? What are you on about, Dark Admiral March? Hello, Dark Admiral Jalapeno Milk, Curious, Mecca, and Eric. 6 watching. I know. If I could figure out this YouTube thing and how to get notifications going earlier. Like, I'm going to be on Ideas of Ice and Fire today in about an hour and a half. And he launched it last night. So there are people there on his channel. Hold on a second. I'm going to go to Ideas of Ice and Fire. Do I even have to? It's probably on my... No. Okay, Ideas. Going to go on Quinn's channel today and talk about some Dune, even though I don't know anything about Dune. I just started listening to the audiobook. There's 7 people waiting right now. It doesn't start for an hour and a half, and there's people waiting. I don't know how to do that. I gotta figure it out. Ideas launched his comic. No. First sip of my coffee. The creamer seemed like really oddly gooey, so I was kind of worried about it. No, Mecca McCheese. Ideas has not launched his comic. He has launched the mailing list link. So, yeah, if you could. No. You guys are going to be along the ride for the development of his comic. So, I had Quinn stream in one of my windows since before I went to bed. Got snared on a bogus DWI charges. Oh no! I likes me some Dune. Yeah, I've gotten. I'm not sure how far I am into it because it's just the audiobook, but it's like the second half of the first tape. I think I fell asleep to it listening to it last night. So I'm about 2 hours in, I think. Yeah, it was, like, I don't know. Because of the introduction, Mike. Oh, no. Oh, gotcha. No, that was because John Malin has surpassed Lone Star 2 with Graveyard Shift 2 by doing something he'd always sworn he would never do. Adding a variant cover. So good for him. Good for him for coming to the dark side of variant covers just so that he could finally squeak past me. Out of spite, frankly. Out of anger, rage, and spite. But to me, I think it's still competition. So I will do what I can. I have 2 days left in this year. No. Well, today and tomorrow. To squeak past him. So I went ahead and I added 2 Lone Star and Monster Hunt. Hold on a second. Let me open this in a different thing. Where's my Brave browser? There it is. Monster Hunt. Star. Go. I have to look for it. All right, let me share this with you guys. Share screen. And I don't know what else entirely to do. but I added the Lone Star second printing so that people can see the first thing they can get is the Lone Star 1 and 2 signed edition for 20% off. And then the digital comic version, Monster Hunt, slots, print and digital. What else did I do? I added some, I unhid some stuff so that people can get stuff. The Lone Star for the Troops I had taken down. It is now back up. The Legion pack is back up. And the sketch cover is back up. And so, oddly, I'll be going on Ideas of Ice and Fire today. And hopefully we'll be promoting this a little bit and bring some new, fresh readers into the fold. Ideas of Mike and Quinn. Yeah, I'm looking forward to helping Quinn develop this. Not just, I mean, obviously his idea, his concept for his world is pretty well filled out. But you know, he's never done anything in this world before, so he's just, I don't want to say he's just a writer. He's a writer. He went to school for writing to be a writer, and he's obviously well read. So I'm like, dude, did you ever want to do a comic? And he's like, yeah, I did. And lo and behold, he had already been working on this thing for over a year when I talked to him, which was a year ago. So now he's developed it out. You're doing it all wrong. Each cover needs a separate campaign. Is that how it works? Darn it. Darn it. Huerta style is not my thing. Everything looks like a transformer or a rock creature. To each their own. It's not my thing either. I'm more of a realistic artist type. I like realism in art. I can appreciate some wonky stuff, so I can appreciate some of the cool stuff that he does, some of the cool lines and whatnot, and the cool shapes and stuff. And that's actually integral to design. I actually had this conversation with Donald, where he was just putting down blobs, right? And I was like, you know what? Part of the thing about making something interesting is making every part of the thing interesting, right? Whether it's throwing down a cool dry brush, you know, shape that you hope looks cool. You don't want it to just be a dry brush blob, right? You want it to be a cool shape that has an interesting texture as it fades out into white, like Jay Lee does all the time. So I'm like, you know, you're just throwing down blobs for dark. And it's like, it's a blob. Your blob, you can contour your blob so that the shape you're throwing down in it of itself is interesting. Huerta takes that to an extreme. So like he's concerned about every little shape being interesting, which is cool. But yeah, it's not realistic enough for my personal taste. But I see the value in it. I think covers should be a separate campaign after the mailing campaign is fulfilled. I think creators would sell more that way. No, you mean like Ethan is doing by holding back? He did all his campaigns are variant covers of the same printing, right? It's not a second printing. It's something he held back while criticizing me for having variant covers, by the way. He held back his variant covers for additional campaigns. And then even after he fulfilled or completed his main campaigns, he offered up brand new variant covers, which were all part of the same printing. Which is, it's, I don't know. I have no problem with it personally because I know that customers like variant covers. What I have a problem with is people giving me crap for a year and a half about doing variant covers while they were planning on doing variant covers the whole time, because that makes them, well. Imani says, I like where I got Sovereign right on. Great notification there, you two. Fluffy little trees, Bob. Fluffy little trees. There you go. Things have a purpose. Yeah, that's the thing. In art, it's design. Design is important. Take, for example, the spiderwebs. Spider-Man spiderwebs. When old McFarlane had a farm, decided to turn Spider-Man spiderwebs into some cool, designy, spaghetti-like substance instead of just a line with a squiggle in it or whatever, right? It went from practical and just getting the idea across to something cool and interesting to look at. That basic concept is what you want in all of design, in all of your artwork. Every blade of grass, if you just do that's your grass, it's not interesting. If you taper your grass, you give it the center line, I know it's detail and it's timing and all that stuff, but that to me is what is interesting. So anyways, if you guys, how many people are here now? Where am I? Where am I? Here I am. Here I am. 28 people watching now. So, yeah, if you guys want to reback Lone Star Monster Hunt, what's happening here? Oh, I was looking at the wrong. What the heck? Why is that showing up there? It should just be on. Oh, it's showing the whole screen. Derp. Wow, I could have really screwed up there. If you want to help me retake my number 5 position from John Malin, if it were possible. I think he got, I don't know where he is now. Let me see. Last night he needed, hey, let me open another window. What's it called? Graveyard Shift. Last night, and I'm sorry, it's 14 minutes in already. We're going to need to move this up. Andrew Huerta variant. So last night he needed about $3,000 to get past my total. And now he's at $9,810. Wow, what a great idea it was to do a variant cover, John Malin. Not like I didn't suggest that. Freaking whatever. I did want to note something here. Early on in the night, I did the math on, let's see, because I was like, how did he get up to $6,000? And he only had like 90 backers or something like that, right? And then I went back and I did the math. Let's see, blood bag was $75 times blank. He had like 20 or something like that. And then it was $25 times whatever it was. And then it was $50 times whatever it was. And you know what? That didn't add up. Someone, in an effort to rub some smug in my face, went to the 4th thing, which is no longer here, which was donate to the campaign. There was a donate to campaign button here, and somebody threw $1,500 in. I can't imagine who that would have been, just to rub some dirt in my face, because that's what it was all about last night. I live in their heads, rent free. But that's fine. That's good. Oh, Mike, be the bigger person, be happy for John. That's the funny thing is, I was laughing my butt off. Because I am happy for John, because I've been telling him to do this. I was like, dude, do variant covers. No, variant covers are blah blah blah. I hate variant, never variant. I'm like, dude, you'll make more money. And I was like, I know it was this weird competition thing, but I'm like, make more money. It's America. Leave your campaign open. Make more money. And he's like, no, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But it took Edwin. Blame Edwin's passive aggressiveness. It took Edwin. No, because what this does, see, now I'm upset with John. I don't hate John. I still like John. I'm just upset with him right now. But I still wish the best for John. I love the man. So I'm happy that he's bent a little bit to my view of variant covers in order to spite me. But look at it, it's making him $10,000. This is gonna make him, before he fulfills his campaign, this is gonna make him another $15,000-$20,000. Freaking hell, man. Good on him, right? I am absolutely excited for him. But what this does is drive me competition. It's capitalism. It's competition. Now I have to find a way to try to beat John. So this is the real Mike Miller. Yeah, why? That's a weird question. I am not a hologram. I am the real Mike Miller. No, they're different. Variant does look great. Okay, so you guys want to take a look at the variant. This is John's, or Huerta's variant. Yeah, see, that's I dig every little thing in Huerta's stuff. And I think, as far as, it does look cool. Me saying it's not me, I guess me saying it's not my shtick is that it's not something I would try to emulate. I guess that's probably what I'm really saying. But I do look at it and I appreciate it. I think it looks cool. I may have some issues with Andrew. Actually, I didn't even talk to him. Just listening to what, he's so in knee deep with those guys and their and the lies that they have promulgated that I don't know, but whatever. His art's still dope. So get it if, well, shoot. Don't get it before if you're going to get it, wait until the 1st. Because now I have to try to beat him before the 31st. And it's going to take, that's a $6,000 road to hoe. So pray for me. The competition is back on. I don't know if I can do it, but I will try. And if you guys want to help out, then just jump over to Lone Star. Grab something. I don't know. Whatever. Grab something expensive. Lone Star for the troops. There's only 24 Lone Star for the troops. You get all 4 covers, and the troops get minimum of 10 copies each. Probably closer to 20, which is what happened last time. So, yeah, please. If I could just get, let's see, 6,000. No, he's a little more. He's probably closer to 6,500 ahead of me. So I would need 65 people to get Lone Star for the troops. Which would be great for the troops, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. Think of all the books I could send to the troops with 65 people getting that. Or I could get 30 people grabbing the Lone Star sketch covers. Except for I only have 18 of those left. So that wouldn't work. Lone Star Legion packs? But whatever it is, if you could do what you can to help me promote Lone Star and Monster Hunt today, that would be fan-diddly-tastic. Otherwise, sorry. Oh, that was my stomach. I am hungry. Otherwise, we should start talking about some Jesus. Giuseppe says, if Jesus said turn the other cheek, then why did he attack the Jewish people at the temple who were selling things which is not turning the other cheek? Well, if you take into context what Jesus was saying about turning the other cheek, he's saying, and keep in mind, most people are right-handed, right? He says, if someone slaps you on the right cheek, if you're right-handed, you're slapping someone on the right cheek, what are you doing? We call that a female dog slap in modern vernacular. This is a condescending strike. This is, I am above you. I am better than you. Get back to your station. He says, offer them your left cheek also. If you are going to strike me as an equal. I would say strike me like a man, but strike me as an equal. It's, I have a very different view because of the particulars of what he says. He doesn't say if someone slaps you, offer them your other cheek. He said if someone strikes you on the right cheek, offer them your left cheek also. Right? So it's a totally different thing than lay down and be a footstool for people to stomp all over you. That is not at all how I read that. It's a left-handed strike. I've never been to modern vernacular. Have they improved the plumbing since the old days? Bishop Don Juan special left. Too bad George couldn't sign a second printing stack of copies. George who? At Mike, it's a backhanded slap. Yeah, but we have a name for that. Have you thought about using Facebook or Instagram sponsorship? Instagram is better, but Facebook is okay for your set categories. Sponsorship, meaning what exactly? Okay, I'll promote Lone Star on Twitter now. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's about the troops, right? That is correct. I don't make any money off of that. That's all. You get yours, and then the troops get theirs, and then I get points in heaven, I guess. As you work on the cards, maybe show off the ones other guys are doing. You'll sell more of those. That would have been a good idea. I don't think I have the time now. Sell off a couple of my kids. I don't think Indigo goes down with that. George Martin. Why? George had nothing to do with the book. Why would he sign them? W.T. Keaton says, entirely different situation. Jesus wasn't responding to a statement with the moneylenders. He was proactively flailing them and overturning the table. He was making the statement. Very true. All right, later, Admiral. And what's up, Zach? How you doing? Let me see. Let me refresh this real quick. Man, my wife went and saw Knives Out last night without me. She went with her father. Terrible. That isn't turning the other cheek to go around attacking people. What are we supposed to learn from that? That there are valid responses to people demeaning the name of God. Turning the other cheek is about you. It's about your pride. It's about your willingness to Well, I mean, the way I saw it or said it earlier, it's about your willingness to stand up for, I don't know, equality in a weird sense. But fighting for the name of God, like if someone besmirches is they were desecrating the temple, you know? They were desecrating the temple. And so, hey, you have to remember something. Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. Jesus is God. There's one God. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. The Lord our God is one. The Lord our God is one God. A hummingbird right in front of my window. Oh, he landed on a branch. Oh, sorry. There's a hummingbird. It keeps buzzing right like in front of my window and then landing on the tree and taking off. Cute. What was I talking about? Oh, and he is the God of revelation. This coming to earth and teaching us how to live and then offering himself up for sacrifice. This was a particular mission of Christ, right? But it doesn't change his character. He is a jealous God. He does not like to have his name dragged through the mud and desecrated. And so, yeah, he has a thing called righteous anger, and he, particularly in that spot, acted on it. How were the Jewish people desecrating a Jewish temple when the Jewish people invented banking? Because they were ripping it off. The temple is for the worship of God, not for the making of money. You don't see the difference there? I think it's a pretty important difference. 7 says, turning the other cheek is more about overlooking petty offense, not an invitation to trample. Hey, 7. Gotham says, it's a typical response that bullies use, which is their way of saying, let me keep treating you like dirt. You were told not to fight back. There comes a time when we stand up and not turn the cheek. Yeah. In another circumstance, you would say, do you defend the innocent? If you see someone being beaten in the street, do you step in, or do you say, keep turning those cheeks, lad? Keep turning those cheeks until they're bloody and raw, because Jesus said not to fight back. No, that's bollocks. No, you step in and you defend the innocent. You pick up arms. I come not to bring peace, said Jesus, but a sword. Right? It's not about just letting the whole world step on you. I don't think that's accurate, Kung Fu Kitty. He reveals himself as an atheist, anti-Semitic edgelord. I didn't get that out of that. P-Money says, outer courts of the temple were the one area where Gentiles could go. It was meant for the Jews to evangelize the Gentiles, but we're using it to sell stuff to them. Also, a good point. Desecration, right? Desecrating it. And it wasn't, you have to think about it. Jesus didn't see it and then get mad, right? He's like, he knew they were there. He sat down and he made a whip. Making a whip takes time. You're braiding cords together. This was all thought out and planned. This was very strangely, this wasn't done in a moment of anger. This was done as a planned action, executed with forethought and and meaning. You know, I don't know how I was going with that. King David turned Goliath's cheek off his shoulder. That's true. He's true. You were in the temple with the one God. Premeditated spiritual butt whopping. Yes, indeedly-do. Yes, indeed. Should we go to that chapter? So Jesus did tell the disciples to buy a sword. So Jesus wasn't for sword control. No. Jesus was pro Second Amendment. Protect yourself. Protect the innocent. Protect your family. I have a freaking UPS label here. I don't know why. Better put that away. That's right. He allowed for self-defense. He also kicked over the money changers' tables. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That is what we were talking about, actually. Let's go to Blue Letter Bible. I don't really feel like going into Joshua today. There we are, John 2, 14, 15. And keep in mind, Passover was at hand. Like the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. It was Passover. And he found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep, and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables. Bah! And said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Jews, and said unto him, what sign showest thou us, seeing thou dost these things? Okay. And Jesus answered them, destroy this temple in 3 days, I will rise it up. Yep, that's talking about the resurrection. Hi, Jesus. That's a nice looking whip. What you making it for? Ouch! I rewatched The Greatest Story Ever Told on TV over the weekend, and I think it handled this scene pretty well. Jesus uses the flail more to send them scrambling than to peel their hides. It would indeed make a bit of noise. It's a whip, so. It's the most holiest time of the year. Yeah, Passover, man. Passover. And you have to keep in mind, what is the Passover a prophecy of? Right? These sheep, these lambs, this blood sacrifice, this was all representative of Jesus himself. Christ is the actual sacrifice that atones for sins. All of these animals, the sheep, the oxen, they were the representation, the temporary symbolization of the sacrifice that Christ would eventually make. So, representatively, they were buying and selling his sacrifice as if it can be bought and sold, as if it could be a work of righteousness. But not even that. Just the fact that they were turning it into some monetary gain. It's like, it reminds me of the soldiers who cast lots for his vesture. 7 says, some scholars say that many would make a long pilgrimage to the temple and would buy the sacrifice once they got to the temple. And because of the demand, prices were sky high. Yeah, that's another thing. It's highway robbery, right? You ever go to a liquor store in the like some barren 50-mile stretch of highway, and you're like, oh, let me go grab a Coke, and it's like $2.50 for a Coke or $3 for a Coke, and you're like, what the heck? He's like, well, you ain't gotta buy it, but you ain't getting another one for 50 more miles. That's what it is, man. Using the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, the symbol, the prophetic day of Christ's. I mean, he was sacrificed on Passover. It's all about him. It was all about him. And they're turning it into a quickie mart. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day. It was easier than dragging your animal sacrifices on the road while traveling. It was certainly easier. But you know who did that? The poor. Right? The poor would take their own animals. It was the rich, the people who could spend 200%, 300%, 400%, whatever, of the value to avoid having the hassle of bringing their own true first offerings. There's a story in the beginning of the Bible about a guy named Cain, right? It was easier for him to offer, vegetables, his first offerings. His offerings wasn't the problem, right? It was the heart of it. It was the heart of the issue. His heart was the heart of the issue. So what's the story there? Cain wanted to do it the easy way. Sort of like saying, okay, leave our first fruits at home. Just grab a bag of money because they'll have some oxen there. And we'll just pay what we have to pay. It's easier. No, that's not what it is. That's not the sacrifice. Kung Fu says, I'm sorry, guys. I have seen these kinds of attitudes towards the scriptures, criticizing Christ and passive-aggressive comments about money lending in general too many times. Yeah, Kung Fu Kitty, I don't mind them here for the simple fact that if people have those questions and they think they're valid arguments against the faith, then it is the apologist's duty to give to every man an answer for the hope that lies within them. And so if they have those questions because they think they're such great questions, bring them. I've never found a question so great that it can topple the truth of Scripture. Soda pop cost $2.20 before taxes here. Oh my gosh. I'm old enough to remember when a bottle of soda pop, a 16-ounce glass bottle of Coca-Cola, was 25 cents. And then you brought it back to the drugstore or the liquor store, and they gave you a dime back for recycling. Indeed. Them was the good old days. Yeah, no need to apologize, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Johnny Torch says, I don't see where anyone was saying Jesus was wrong here. Least of all me. That's right. That's right. Everett points out there are 3 feasts where you're required to attend if you lived in the land. It's Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, And Yom Kippur? No, Yom Kippur is a later thing, isn't it? What's the third one, Everett? Soda should have gotten cheaper due to advances in the technology and distribution. Interesting, isn't it? Coke never tasted the same after they stopped using glass recyclable bottles. This is true, W.T. Keaton. But if you live in San Diego, you can get what is very often available, Mexican Coke. Mexican Coke is not only made in glass bottles, those glass recyclable bottles, it is also made with real sugar, not corn syrup. So it is the old school Coke. Mexican Coke is old school Coke. Pentecost. I think that is correct. I thought Mexican Coke was something totally different. No, that is Colombian Coke. Colombian Coke is a little different from the Mexican Coke. Soda is actually quite expensive if you take type 2 diabetes into account. True. Hey. Eric Hawkins says, Mike and I are the same age. No age jokes about us beating off bears with our loose leaf notebooks. Oh, because you're saying, tell us about how when you walked up the hill both ways and rode on dinosaurs, Mr. Miller. They're called dragons, Rhaegar. They're called dragons. And they're not big enough to ride anymore. Hence the name Coke, which used to have cocaine in it. That is correct. See, cocaine wasn't always illegal, ladies and gentlemen. Cocaine didn't used to be a hell of a drug. It used to be a hell of a soda. Cocaina. You always want that good Mexican Coke. I don't drink soda. I probably had, in the year 2019, I probably had 3 Coca-Colas that I can recall. Maybe 4. Yeah. Soda is bad. Soda is just poison for your body. I don't know if you guys understand this, but boy, none of you are gonna double back my Monster Hunt, my Lone Star. It's Pentecost, right on. Sherlock Holmes liked Coke a little too much. But your stomach digests food with a thing called stomach acid, right? Digestive acids. Well, have you ever had a stomach ache and someone's like, hey, drink a soda because the soda has carbonated bubbles. It's carbonated. The carbonation in the soda will cancel out your stomach acids, right? It's an acid and a base or whatever it is. But it can't cancel out your stomach acids. It neutralizes your stomach acids so that your stomach acids don't hurt your stomach. What do stomach acids do? Stomach acids break down and digest your food so that it can go through your system and you can absorb the maximum number of nutrients, correct? What happens if you're drinking a soda with your food? Come on now. It's not rocket science. If you're neutralizing the stomach acids while you're eating your food does not break down as well as it should, and the nutrients are not absorbed in your system. So your drinking soda while you're eating is defeating the purpose of eating. At that point, you're just filling yourself up physically because you're not digesting your food. So yeah, if you're going to drink soda, guys. Don't drink it with your food. Never drink soda with your food. Get a lemonade, get a water, get an iced tea. You get fat. Thank you, Johnny Torch. That is another excellent result of drinking soda with your food. It's so funny because it's such an obvious thing. You know, you kind of need your stomach acids to be churning at full capacity in order to digest the food you are currently eating. Of course, I'm not sure how important it is to digest your freaking French fries. Fried potatoes somehow is like chemically the worst thing you can eat. But gosh, they're delicious. And that's not fat. Thanks for the advice, Mike. You got it, Kiwi. Yeah, but if you're going to drink soda, just drink it on its own, like on an empty stomach or whatever. Just don't drink it when you're eating. Or just don't drink it in general. Soda, it's, you know how much sugar is in a Coke? If this was a Coke, like this much of it would be sugar. Can you imagine just scooping that much sugar in your mouth? Ah, it's terrible. Terrible. Ah, that makes so much sense. I never thought about that. I rarely drink soda now, but it all makes sense now. Yes. This is how we have developed an entire country full of fat people who drink sodas with every meal. Get no nutrients out of them, but all the fat. All the fats. I drink caffeinated water or coffee. Yeah. Unsweetened bubbly water. Carbonated water? A carbonated beverage on an empty stomach is kind of painful. Really? I don't think I've ever had that problem. Maybe you have particular issues of your own. Whatever that be. I'm going to embarrassingly refresh this and notice that no one has purchased anything. 177,603. So sad. All right. What else we got going on here? Nutrients. Nutrients are for commies, he says. All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing because that not moving is just embarrassing me at this point. Yeah, it's funny because I spent all this time trying to get people to go to the second campaign, but it's like I could have just gone back and added that that campaign back to my first campaign, right? If I had added Lone Star, if I had, instead of doing another campaign, boy, maybe I should have done that. Instead, if I'd have just added Lone Star and Monster Hunter, or Lone Star 2, a second, well, no, I don't think it would have done as much. $17,415. Yeah, there's no way he would have caught up to me if I'd have done that. But nah, that would have been cheating. Please don't feel bad. I already backed it 3 times. I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. In Soviet Russia, food digests you. It's true. Sorry, Mike. Why would you say? I'll take an iced tea or a cold brew coffee. Thanks. Why do you say sorry for that? I'm down, man. You know what? I used to drink iced green tea all the time until I got diagnosed with high blood pressure. Caffeine in and of itself, not necessarily good for blood pressure. But, and the reason I drank green tea is it's not a cultural thing. I mean, it's partly cultural. I like green tea. But it's so full of polyphenols. I had, once upon a time, when I drank soda, I had a mole on my side about this big, misshapen, bumpy, and itchy. And if anyone has ever read the chart for how you know whether a mole is malignant or benign, misshapen, bumpy, and itchy are 3 very good signs that it's a malignant tumor. I stopped drinking soda, and I started drinking green tea almost exclusively instead of water. So high in polyphenol. Polyphenols fight cancer. And I noticed, and this thing had been growing for years. It was right here on my side. And I never went to the doctor for it because I don't go to doctors. And eventually, I noticed it shrinking. I'm like, huh. Well, actually, I think the first thing I noticed that it stopped itching. And then I noticed that it started shrinking. And then eventually I noticed it was completely gone. Amazing. How do you get rid of moles? Stop drinking soda, drink a lot of green tea. But the reason I drink coffee now instead of green tea is because when I found out I had high blood pressure, one of the medications they give you for high blood pressure is a diuretic. Coffee is a well-known diuretic. So I'm like, what the heck? It's not a digestive issue. It's the fact that there's nothing in your stomach, and then the carbonated drink is the first to hit your system. Yeah, if it cancels out all, I don't know. I don't know. I never really thought about it. Empty stomach pain. Anybody else have problems drinking soda on an empty stomach? I would just say avoid soda altogether, personally. I mean, at least habitually. You know, you can have a little bit. Don't be like, hey, let's go get a 44-ounce big gulp. You should have added it to Lone Star 2 as an ash can. No. Ice, baby. Go. Mike Miller is like Rambo. He sews his own wounds up. We don't need no stinking doctors. Oh, there's the... I wonder if that's a different one. Or the hummingbird's just out in force today. Little green-backed, ruby-throated hummingbirds. That is a female because the males are the ones with the ruby throats. I nerded up about birds when I was a kid. I still remember some of it. Mike's spitting nutrition facts. I would probably know at least half of this if I'd paid attention in nutrition class in college. Or they would have taught you, go to the doctor, they know everything. 3 cheers for nutritional healing. Yeah, oddly, red wine, dark chocolate, and green tea. All 3 are like super high in polyphenols. So if you have a sweet tooth, dark chocolate, because just, sugar itself is what feeds cancer. Your body already converts everything you eat into sugars. That's how the system works. Sugars and fat is like the oil and the gas that run the body. But if you have a sweet tooth and you want to eat something that is sweet, dark chocolate, because it's got the sugars in it, but it's super high in polyphenols. So you might be like canceling out so what my point is that if you add sugar to your system, that it acidifies your system, it feeds cancer. Cancers thrive on sugar. You starve them of sugar as much as you can, and you minimize your risks, because everyone has cancer. Everyone has damaged cells, which is what starts cancer, right? You either feed them to the point where they coagulate. I don't know what the right word is. Metastasize or whatever. Is that the same as antioxidants? Yeah, polyphenols are antioxidants. It's a particular. I'm telling you, Mike, keto. I eat dark chocolate, but it needs a high cacao content. Yeah, I do. I love the darker. I love a 80% dark chocolate. Mm. But yeah, anything under like 72%, that's not dark chocolate. That's like tanned milk chocolate. Yeah, that I would say at least 72, 74%. I like 80. Sometimes the 90% one. It's not too bitter. Not too bitter. Hummingbird is the new squirrel. Well, I don't often get the hummingbirds zipping around. I mean, we have a hummingbird feeder, but it's on the other side of the house. I stopped drinking pop years ago. Water, tea, or milk with meals. Very good, very good. Yeah, iced tea for me, man. Iced tea, lemonade. Lemonade. I like lemonade. It's really high in sugar, but it's good. It's good for fighting against the kidney stones. So, So Fizz Pop says, I guess Lone Star Soda not coming out soon. Oh, that would be kind of hypocritical. But I do have a friend who makes soda, Swell Soda. So I could very easily make a Lone Star Soda. I'm not sure how easily I could package and ship it, though. I don't think anybody would be interested in that anyways. I would probably do Lone Star Soda. He's got a flavor, vanilla coffee flavor. It's quite good. Lone Star water with lemon. Yes. I'll have to remember those levels. Chocolate, tanned chocolate, dark chocolate. Tanned is a joke. That's not right. Loose leaf white tea, silver needle with lemon and raw honey have several powerful benefits, including dramatically altering your brain waves. I like white tea. White tea is also very good. Silver needle. Is it silver nettle? Silver needle. I haven't heard of that. You could make it flavored with frog tears. I bet you I could sell more bottles of Lone Star Cola than certain frog coin. Just saying. Lone Star alcohol drink. I'll have a Lone Star and a Coke. Do it. Yeah, so here's my buddy. Let me see if I can find it. I know he has a Instagram, but Coffee Vanilla Bean. That's the one. Vintage Soda Pop is back in a whole new way. So he's got these different flavors. These are going to be offered soon in oh shoot, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. He just made a great deal with a company, a major retailer. So yeah, I could legit just be like, hey dude, give me some of that, this one, coffee vanilla cream, and here I'm gonna design a label. We'll get those labeled up. Bam. Oh shoot, I'm not even showing it. Nostalgia in a bottle. Swell Soda Company. Oh shoot, we're at an hour. I gotta back out. But here's the coffee vanilla cream. If you guys want to go to swellsoda.com, get some of this. This is the good stuff. Coffee vanilla cream. I would definitely, if I was going to make a Lone Star soda, I'd probably use that flavor. I'd buy a 6-pack of Lone Star and Kapow each. Your Lone Star soda could dissolve those front coins. Shots fired! Shots fired! Well, I'm just saying. I mean, who wants freaking $25 quarters? All right, guys, we're going to get going. It has been an hour. Thank you all for being here. At least we did get some Jesus in today. Talked a lot about health stuff and about Lone Star Monster Head. Please do spread the word today and tomorrow before the end of the year. Let's see if we can't somehow jolt this up and bring the competition back to Mr. Variant Cover himself, John Malin. John the Variant Malin. God bless you guys. We'll see you later.
Oh, it looks good on you, though.